we're extremely pleased with the consistency, and that's what we've been always searching for. Let's look back 12 months ago. At the end of December 31st, 2018, RNC and our shareholders had $1.3 million in cash. Today, we end the year with $34 million in cash. It's a completely different company with sustainable production in front of ourselves, tremendous exploration opportunities in front of ourselves. So for us, the future is bright in those areas.
Hello and welcome to Crux Investor. We spoke earlier today to Paul Huet. He is the CEO of RNC Minerals. They're a gold producer in Australia. We talk about the 2019 turnaround of the business, which is quite meaningful. We also look forward to their 2020 statements, and Paul talks about some of the topics he's going to be giving guidance on. Plus, we look at the recent acquisition to the board and their cash position and a bunch of other subjects. Please look in the description below for those topics. You can click on those links and go to that part of the video. And if I could ask that you click the subscription button in the corner of the screen. Of course, if you want to see more videos like this, please click the notification bell below. Let's hear what Paul had to say. Hello, Paul. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Matt. How are you?
Not bad.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. Lovely to be talking to you. And you're going to give us a quick update today. So, thank you very much for your time.
No worries. Listen, before I get started, I just want to say one thing, if you don't mind. I want to steal a thunder here and really take a moment and thank all my team in Australia. As most of the world has seen, it's been a devastating fire season out there. We have banded together with the local communities, external regulators, our neighbors, our friends. Our team have done an amazing thing together. They've proven to be extraordinarily resilient in overcoming and battling these fires on a united front. So without any injuries to any one of our people, working with everyone together, I can't say how thrilled and proud I am of the team and how much minimal impact it has had on us because how well they thought this through. So I really want to take a moment and shout out to my team in Australia and thank them for their resilience and their efforts in that fire season.
No, we've been getting a lot of video and imagery over here. It looks horrific. So yeah, I appreciate it. Must be tough.
It has.
Okay. Well, do you mind if we come on to that? But first of all, congratulations on last year. What a hell of a turnaround. Amazing. You must be pleased.
We're extremely pleased with the consistency, and that's what we've been always searching for, some fundamentals to secure a consistent future for ourselves and our shareholders. So the end of the year came out extraordinary, even considering some of the challenges we had with the natural disaster. So ending the year above our guidance range, our high-end guidance was very overwhelming and thrilling for us all. We're very pleased with it, including the cash, right? Let's face it, we ended the year with about $37 million in cash. We put $3 million down on our debt, preserving some of that interest payment. But if you look back, Matt, here's one of the things I said to my team right out of the gate. I said, Happy New Year, great job, everybody. Let's look back 12 months ago. At the end of December 31st, 2018, RNC and our shareholders had $1.3 million in cash. Today, we end the year with $34 million in cash. It's a completely different company with sustainable production in front of ourselves, tremendous exploration opportunities in front of ourselves.
Right. Okay. So absolutely. First of all, second half of the year, you've kind of come into the mill has kind of come into its own. You've been able to process your own stock and feed and ore. We have talked about a sorting mill as potential for something that you may add later this year. So I think people are going to be most interested in understanding, your 2020 guidance. What are the things that you're going to be talking about and telling people, and when?
Yeah, so that's a fair question. Look, we're going to be really primarily focused on two things in 2020 that we're going to put out guidance in the next coming weeks here, Matt. We're finalizing everything here. We just published a 2P reserve at Beta Hunt, so we're really focused on where our exploration targets are going to be for 2020. Our guidance is really going to predominantly look at the ounces we're going to do And I really want to emphasize on one thing here. When people see that guidance, understand that we're doing everything we can to predict and understand where that coarse gold lies. We've actually hired some new geophysicists. We're looking at different ways to evaluate things. We're not stopping or giving up or settling on anything. Our best objective or target is to understand and predict some of that coarse gold, because there's quite a bit of coarse gold, we believe, in those areas, and there might be a lot outside of these areas that we're in as well. But the guidance today, the guidance that we will put out, Matt, will exclude that coarse gold. So I don't want people to go, oh my gosh, what's going on? You know, we'll mine some additional coarse gold in 2020. We're very confident about that. We're extremely confident about that. To predict exactly which month or when, or to put it into our plans, is something we're not prepared to do, and it's a little premature, but there's certainly not a goal we don't believe we can get to at some point.
Right.
The second thing we're going to put guidance out on is costs. We're going to put out guidance on AISC and our ounces. And you will see, on the heels of negotiating what I believe was a historical event with the Morgan Stanley royalty, that was massive for us and our shareholders. It unlocked so many areas. We're going to be indicating where we're going to be targeting areas towards Higginsville, because when we bought that facility, Higginsville, we didn't just get a mill. We got 1,800 square kilometers of land. You know, that land hasn't been touched or has been neglected for years because of the penalties or the burden that the royalties have had on those areas. So for us, the future's bright in those areas. We will start targeting and committing dollars into it. In fact, already we've started pre-stripping a second satellite pit nearer the mill that we're going to put into alongside our production for 2020. That'll feed the mill. It'll be below this other pit and the underground at Beta Hunt. So,
what are the other things that people should be looking out for from you with regards to the guidance? What are you doing with regards to people say? Because again, another thing I don't think you got credit for before Christmas was you said something, and I'm not sure I really fully comprehended it until this morning. I had a conversation with a consultant who talked about if you are investing in a company where there's a huge turnover of staff, it should tell you something. And you walked into that. You had that when you arrived. I mean, has that stabilized? Have you fixed that problem?
So let's face it, you look at any industry in the world, it doesn't matter if you're in gold mining, in the oil industry, in tech industry, if there's a massive turnaround, that is certainly a signal and a sign of something being wrong or some disruption in that organization. When I walked through the doors of this thing, myself and Graham, we had 87% turnover rate. We've dropped that down to 19%. We've gone from being a company or an organization where we were not able to be selective on who we chose to come work for us. In fact, we were picking people because we were desperately needing bodies to help us. We're now at a stage where this company can be very selective, pick and choose who we want to be part of our team. Our turnover rate has significantly dropped. That is a huge, huge benefit to us, to our shareholders, because at the end of the day, it does impact the bottom line. When you have somebody who's there at a mine site for 3 months or 3 years, you see those advantages, and they're hard to measure, but they always trickle down to the bottom line, and it's beneficial. And there's absolutely no doubt the tide has changed, and we are definitely now one of the employers of choice where we're senior people, miners. We are attracting much better, much improved talent for ourselves, which helps us a lot.
Right, and I also noticed in a recent release, you've also hired someone onto the board, or taken someone on the board.
Oh, thanks. Yes, look, I'm really pleased to announce that we've just brought on Chad Williams. In fact, I just had breakfast with him. Chad comes with a very vast experience and network and knowledge. He was the former CEO and founder of Red Cloud. We're very, very lucky to get a gentleman like Chad with his network, his experience. I've known him for a long time in my career. Most gold junior players, most gold guys if you mention the name Chad Williams, they will recognize the name. He comes very highly recommended, and we're grateful to have him join the board. He's certainly going to be welcomed, and in addition, that will help us support the trajectory we're going down, focused on the gold.
Okay. Can we, just to finish off on the 2020 guidance, will you be raising money in 2020?
We're not in the year that 2020 is going to see us be burning up our treasury, despite it being a very intense year on capital. We're still adding to our treasury. So a breakout year for us. 19 was an instrumental, pivotal year where we saw a huge turnaround in this company. In 6 months, there was more done in 6 months than I'd done as previous CEO in 2 years. So I can't say how proud I am. 2020 is going to be another significant year where we separate ourselves out from the pack.
No, I totally agree with that. I mean, I take my hat off to the way you've turned things around in the business. It's a epitome of a turnaround story in the market for sure. I mean, it's been helped by the gold price. That really has helped you guys a lot. And do you see the gold price continuing at the current rate? Any reason to doubt that the market conditions?
Look, it depends on who you ask, but consensus pricing in the world averages between 1470. Probably average. We're sitting at 1550 right now. Our internal budget was done about $1,400 gold. We used a very conservative number when we prepared our budget, and we're making money at those levels with our grades. So anything above that, all that's going to happen for us is we're going to have better returns. So we were conservative in our assumptions and our gold pricing for our budgeting purposes. Okay.
And if I may just finish off with it, because again, your job is managing risk. This coming back to the Australian bushfires, I mean, they've been raging for a couple of months. It's a very serious problem over there. And I do appreciate what you said to your team at the beginning of this interview. But what are the things that you've had to manage in terms of being able to continue to do business? I mean, have you eaten through stockpiles as a result? Have it stopped people getting to site? I mean, what are the things you're battling with?
Yeah, look, let's face it. Everybody knows Western Australia has been on fire. The access to the mine had been closed for several days. So we've had a lot of intense scheduling and planning. But I will say that because we've been aligned with the regulators, the communities, and everyone else, we've actually lent some of our people, our equipment to the regulators to go out and put some bridge marks across. So we have had knowledge of when roads may or may not close. And because of it, we've been able to stockpile reagents and material into it. So we brought in some material, and some of the days when we were unable to transport some of our ore, we were fortunate to have some stockpiles from the acquisition of Higginsville. This is something that really got overlooked many times when we acquired Higginsville. We got the land, we got the mill, but we also had a stockpile. So we've been eating up that stockpile and feeding the mill along the way. So we're pretty much through it, but again, because we've been aligned with everyone and working alongside the communities and the regulators, we've known when the roads would shut down, so we were able to prevent shutting down our operations. So we've minimized the effect significantly for ourselves. Let's just hope that the disasters completely cease here in January. We've seen some really good rain that's helped out a lot here. Let's just hope things get better for everybody in Australia and not just RNC, to be truthful.
Right. So you don't see it impacting business in the short term, but likewise you don't see, I would, like you say, cross our fingers that the bushfires don't continue. I mean, they have been severe. So it has been a bit of rain, a bit of abatement, but no end in sight yet.
Yeah, well, actually, because of the rain, things have ceased a lot.
Right.
There's no telling whether things would spark back up again. We're certainly prepared for anything. We will work with any agency and continue to work with the groups. We've done everything we could and can to manage risk. So we're doing everything we can to make sure that there is no impact to our operations. At this point, December obviously wasn't tremendously impacted despite having the road shut down because of the stockpiles we've had. The first quarter, we've yet to put out guidance, but at the end of the day, we don't anticipate today, on January, 10th today, Matt? January 10th? We don't anticipate that our first quarter is going to have any significant sways either way because of the natural disasters at this point. We believe that we're going to be able to deliver on what our expectations are that we're going to be putting out here shortly.
And talking which, just to reaffirm, you're still going to be, you stick to your initial statement, you are going to be doing quarterly reporting this year. Is that right?
Yeah, look, absolutely. That's something we have to get to. We recognize, even myself, I recognized early on when I first became CEO that we needed to report monthly, and that was something we did at the request of our shareholders. But there has to come a point in time where things do evolve, and we are continually evolving at every phase in this organization, from the board all the way down to the miner, as you're saying, from people to cash to costs to everything we're doing. There's a strategy for just about everything we're doing. We're controlling the reins here. One of the things has to be that we've got to follow suit with our peers and get in line and start reporting quarterly. That actually helps us in many ways as well. So it is a standard that we're going to be adopting, and we've been extremely transparent about it for weeks now. We've been telling people that the intent is to follow the rest of the peers and get to quarterly reporting starting in 2020. Okay,
final one. As part of your guidance, are you going to be talking about Dumont?
I won't say we won't be talking about it. I will say that we're always looking and evaluating at what's happening with our Dumont asset. Again, people are aware that we have the Magneto board that's separate with Waterton, and that's funded through that. So our focus really is on the gold right now. Dumont is an important part of our company. There's no doubt about it. It has value. We're still in the we just come through the holidays. Dumont has been not very active throughout the holidays, so not a lot has changed since the end of the year, that's for sure. So.
Okay, watch this
I'll leave it at that.
Watch this space, okay.
Yeah, and who knows where nickel goes too, right? Dumont, in my eyes, for our shareholders, is an option on nickel. We have an option on nickel. So where nickel goes, that could have a significant impact on us and our shareholders.
But there's no financial prerequisite for you to spend money on it anytime soon?
There's no burden on our treasury as we're holding it because it is funded. We have over $3 million in an account. It's Magneto. It's a JV between Waterton and us. So the funding from Dumont comes from those dollars that are not included in our cash balance. That $34 million that we're ending does not include that $3 million from Magneto.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. Paul, wonderful summary. Love to see you after the holidays. I would look forward to hearing more on the 2020 guidance in the next few weeks. Please stay in touch with us.
All right, Matt, it's good to see you, and let's hope 2020 is a great decade.
Yes, sir.